chat just to confirm that you can hear me and see me okay? I think I got it now. Can you guys see me okay? I'll just give a second. I'm going to wait until I see somebody speak in the chat just to confirm that you can hear me okay before we get started. There we go. Hi, can you hear me okay? Okay, hold on. Let me see something real quick. Is that better? Can you hear me better? I just turned the mic up. Let me know if you get a second. Is it still low? Is that better? Let me know if that's not better. I have another headset I can use that might be better. Okay, so we better. Okay, good. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into it, you guys. I hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome back to Kristyn Alexis Trades. No, I'm just playing. I wanted to do this because I've been talking a lot on Threads about what I see, but I figured there's no better way to do it than to just go ahead and get on live. So I've got a clean chart here, and I think that it would be helpful to kind of talk through my ideas, and then we can kind of go from there. So with that being said, I'm looking at NQ. For those of you who are not familiar with futures, it's the NASDAQ, aka QQQ. I like to chart NQ using I like to chart NASDAQ using the futures NQ chart, even if I'm going to do options. I like to do it because futures has the whole chart, so I'm able to see 23 hours of the 5-day, 6-ish day week. It just helps me a lot better to be able to see everything as opposed to looking at QQQ where you kind of get the thinned out chart because there's a lot of the day that is not shown. So if you just compare, this is QQQ and you can see QQQ looks boneless and NQ, it has all the bones. So we're going to roll with NQ. So basically, I wanted to do this charting this week because I figured it may be helpful for some out there who are, trying to discern when to get in, when to be prepared for possible reversal, etc. So there's a couple of things I like to look at as just fundamentals. These are like some of the basics that I learned when I first started trading. And I got this from ICT as well as one of my mentors who is also someone who trades ICT methodology. So I think, we start just simply with the fibs. So if we throw a fib from last year's low to this year's high, if we take the high from October the 29th, if we use that high, we have not reached a 50% retracement as of yet. I am anticipating at minimum that we see a 50% retrace on all three tickers, YM, ES, and the NASDAQ. And that is because price at minimum should reach a discount before we continue higher. So for me, I will not play long until at minimum we see a 50% retrace on the last retrace that the market did last year in 2025. So this is last year's low in April. And as you guys can see, we're kind of like running on the same clock. So this is pretty normal. I know a lot of people are like really worried about everything going on. Hey, baby. Sure. What do you need screen time for? He needs screen time, y'all. That's important. Let me get that man some screen time. Okay. So I like to use that as like a general rule of thumb. I think it's just a safe way to look at the market. So if we take this last dip from October 2023 and we just measure, actually, even if you go out to this low, so you had this low from the 2022, and if you use last year's high, we made a 50% retrace. And look at the bodies. And it even just barely missed the golden zone on the Fibonacci. So general rule of thumb for me is I am going to wait to entertain anything long until we've reached a discount on the chart. And we have not done that yet. So I think that's just something to keep in mind. It is possible it pulls back up. If it does that, though, honestly, I'd be curious to see if it double tops. Like, it could do something like that and come back, but I'm looking for this area to be touched by NQ. So that was kind of what I had mentioned a few weeks back when I did the live on here, and I said that my target was 22,000-ish, and that is one of the reasons why. That's one of the main reasons, and that's just like basic logic, is that I guess you'd say market makers would prefer to go to a discount before being able to participate again. And we have been in distribution for quite some time. Like, this whole consolidation here, we've been in this for a minute. So it's kind of, it just makes sense for it to retrace. Like, this compression was demonstrating that the market wasn't going nowhere. The only thing I will say is we have yet to see fair value be created up here on that time frame that I'm on. I like to use nested time frames, so I don't use the typical time frames that you would see people talk about, with the exception of the ones that I have shown you guys online, like the 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, 9 month, 12 month. Those are some of my favorite high time frames to look at. But with that being said, I'm looking at all of this down here. These are all targets to me. So this busy down here, if we just keep going down, so I'm on the 9-day, this is the 14 day. You've got a little busy down here, you've got busy down here. And NQ's chart looks very similar to Microsoft's chart. They're almost identical. And Microsoft, if you've been following, made a deep move. It's already gone. So I'm just honestly thinking we're probably going to follow suit with what Microsoft did, is my current bias. On this is basically like the monthly, but it's a nested time frame again, so it's slightly different. But we've got some busies down here. I definitely am thinking we're gonna hit. Like, if I was on the 5 minute or the 3 minute, I'd be holding for these targets down here. And also, you've got your breaker. We've yet to see the breaker, and when price retraces, for me, general rule of thumb is I hold for the breaker. So we have not reached the breaker yet. Y'all still with me? This making sense? Can somebody give me a yeah in the chat? Can y'all give me a yeah in the chat? Something else, you see the opening of the week? There's really no wick on this candle. It's like a baby wick. I suspect we're making the wick right now, so we will see. And this is your new week opening gap right here. This gap down. There's your new week opening gap. Okay, good stuff. So for this week, I've got some ideas. I do think it's very possible we try to retrace. I'm on very small time frame. I'm on the 81 minute right now, and this is our new week opening gap right here. New week opening gap, price likes to use it as like support or resistance. So if we get over and they push off of it, definitely be curious about what it's going to try to seek out above. So there may be some ideas up here. I do have targets, like all of this, honestly, these are all to me manufactured targets that they have created. I do think it's a possibility price may try to get up here, but I don't know if it's going to be able to do it. There's so much stuff now in the way that held us support all that time, and we're currently below it. So I think it's going to be real tough to get up there that high. Okay, so I'm looking at, if we go look left, we open below all of this whole level. You see how this level held its support all this time since last year October, and they built this whole consolidation, aka the end of this distribution on top of that level. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm kind of watching to see if we trade up into here and what happens. So just like I've said before, if they go over and up, then I'm looking for higher to see what they try to get over here. And if we reject, I'm looking for lower prices to down here. And this area here is my first idea because this is where the breaker rests. So when you break structure, you expect price to return back to your displacement high. We are very close to displacement high. So that's kind of the next area that I'm looking for. I would like to start a position for the week, depending on whatever's going to set up. But obviously, I need confirmation. So that's kind of what I'm watching for there. Just keep in mind, this is not advice, okay? You have to do your own analysis. This is just scenarios. I'm just talking about scenarios right now. Definitely make sure you do your own advice, though, to determine what you see and if you align with the ideas. These are all just ideas, right? So yeah, so I'm curious about all of that. Let's see, I'm just taking a peek. Okay, so with that being said, yeah, I am curious to see how it reacts to this fair value gap that we're in. But this is a 3-month gap, and this candle closes here in 8 days. We have a lot of time. Like this, for this bullish setup to maintain bullish, we could stay down here for a whole nother quarter, which means that we could wick, we could do a lot of stuff down here and not flip. So for me, even though we are in a bullish fair value gap, I'm not necessarily gonna just automatically be like, let me get in, because it does not have to respect that fair value gap by any means. And to me, we've got a lot of stuff sell side, and we have not reached a discount. We're not at a discount. And smart money needs to reach a discount before it can participate. And smart money is who moves the market. So for me, I want to trade in a safe place, in a place that, like, if you buy at a discount, so let's say you buy at a discount, right? You buy here, and then it just keeps going. So you see this, if let's say you bought here, so not here, but you bought at a discount, right? You buy down here, and then price keeps going and breaks structure. If price breaks structure, it's gonna return back into this range to short. I don't know why my throat's so dry. So this would be the entry for the short, which is going to give you an exit. So you always want to buy at a discount. Buying up here, people buying right here, right now, with no confirmation. You buy here and price keeps going, it's not going to give you an exit. You're going to have to add to your position to get out at a break even. If you wait for price to come to a discount, the likelihood you're going to be able to get out at break even or really close to break even is higher than if you buy at a premium, because it does not have to return up here to this much of a premium. Like, it just doesn't, you know? So for me, I'm going to buy at a discount and I'm going to sell at a premium. And that's why when people try to say, you know, to me, because I personally, I'm one of those people, I do invest in the market. Not everybody does. The guy I learned from ICT, he only does futures. He does futures because he believes that the market is risky and he's not comfortable leaving his money in overnight. And I understand that position. However, for me, I'm not someone who I don't know if I'm ever honestly going to leave my money in this market. I don't feel comfortable with it. I'm not one of those people who believes that it's always going to hold. You know, but everybody has their thing. It's held for all these years. Maybe it'll keep holding for another 200 years. For me, I've developed my skill set to where I don't need to hold. I can get out and get back in, and I'm okay with that. For me, I'm okay with that. And I know Buffett will probably eat me up, but I'm okay with that. That's just how I trade. So I'm not giving nobody advice. This is not trading advice. I'm just telling you what I see and what I like to do. So this is just my perspective. A busy is a fair value gap, so a bullish fair value gap. It's a buy side imbalance. It has buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. Sell side is when price offers sell side is selling. Buy busy, so buy up, you sell down. So when you have sell side, this is sell side. So when people are selling and they we're falling, right? That's the selling is happening, right? So you have selling, and this is a busy. There's buyers here. Buying money is here. So you go, sell side is offered to this fair value gap. This fair value gap right now has not been offered sell side. It has not been offered sellers. And the market is supposed to be, how would I say this? It's supposed to be balanced. So the market is supposed to have an equal representation of buyers and sellers for the moves that happen and that you see in the market. But we know smart money is what moves the market. Smart money is what creates fair value. So price needs to come back to the fair value gap and offer sellers to the gap to match up and to balance that particular area of the chart. So you have to have an equal representation of buyers and sellers in the market. And keep in mind, the verbiage I'm using is for a reason. Representation. Because in my mind, the market is ran by an algorithm. It's a computer. Computer is determining why we go where we go. Okay? So in my mind, and in my humble opinion, and this is how I trade and what I believe, you don't have to believe this, and that's okay. But for me, I personally believe that it's a computer, it's an algorithm, and it's run off an algorithm just like Threads is run off of an algorithm. So I say that to say, we, in my humble opinion, will offer sell side to all of this imbalance. But I will say, and I'm going to say this on record, I'm not necessarily convinced that this is going to hold. I'm not convinced that this breaker here is going to hold. I think there is a potential that we may have targets. I think this could be a target. And I think this could be a target. And I hate to say that, but I do think those could be targets. So if this does not hold and we close a body over these two candles, I'm looking at this level. And we have fair value down here that has been yet to be offered. When price came down here, it created a relative equal low. And they did offer sell side to this fair value gap here. I'm not trying to predict that we're going to get there, but I do think there is a very high probability that these may be targets. I do think that these may be targets. So we'll see. We'll see though. I could be completely off base, but in this environment, I do think it's a possibility. So we'll see. But I say that to say what we would prefer to see is for price to offer sell side here and to continue like we've been since the beginning of time. But I just think we're in an environment where these could be targets, and using how I trade right now, they're presenting as targets. We'll see if that happens, but I definitely think it's possible. I do like to look at trend lines. So I have this trend line here that I think is pretty clean. And my husband is downstairs DJing and he's playing some good music. So when we get off here, I'm about to go down there. I hope he don't stop before I get done. I'm going to be so sad. But he down there killing it. So my computer is lagging right now. But I'm looking at this. I've got two trend lines that using nested time frames, the trend lines are super clean. I really love how clean the trend lines are on these time frames. So I am watching these trend lines, and I'm curious to see how price reacts to that first one when we see it. So I don't think we're done falling personally. And I think that, we've got bearish SMT right now on the year. It takes a long time for that SMT to validate, but right now we have yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily SMT above us. That's a lot of SMT. That's been communicating that we were turning for weeks. Like, we've been in this setup. I was anticipating this setup last year, but at the time we weren't sure what the catalyst was going to be, like what was going to send price to create these moves. And I posted about it on Threads. I personally suspect it's very possible that we may be doing a significant move down. So we'll see what happens. But we would need to do, if they come down here, they're going to have to do this fast to maintain this trend line. And if not, we could come and take this low here. And if we take this low, it could still hold and go back right back on uptrend and everything be all good. So we will see. So for next week, let me go to the weekly real quick. My kids, I don't know if y'all can hear my boys. They're loud too. It's loud over here. Can y'all hear the music? Can y'all hear the music? Look at these wicks. That's so bearish. This is the weekly. It's been trying to get back up. Just reject, reject, reject. And now we're below these candles. If you just look at all your bull order block or your bullish order blocks to the left, now that we're under them, they're acting like resistance. Excuse me. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Sonia. Exactly. Okay. So I'm watching these levels. Just kind of, I use the logic like support and resistance, where if we get above and we hold a support, I would look for higher. So on the weekly, if we got over that candle, I'd look for price to see if it would hold that level. And then from there, we'd have to get all the way over that level to go higher. Okay? Hopefully that makes some sense. And if we go to our nested time frame, so this is the 9-day. 9-day we open below. So that's your 9-day. Do we have any fair value on the day chart? Let me see. So right now in Q, let's see if that's a gap. I think that's like a sliver of a gap. It is. You see that gap up there? There's like a sliver right here. Adrian, baby, please. Can y'all see that gap? It's little, but all it takes is a gap that big. All you need is one tick. It doesn't have to be big, but you see the gap? There's a fair value gap right there. So you have a SIBI, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. Okay.
When you
Hey,
you see that gap down?
Yeah, but honestly, like the gap down. So anytime price gaps down, a lot of times that's bullish.
Because they want to go back up
and then they'll get over and use it as support.
Yeah,
So,
but then when they come back down,
but we'll see. I do suspect. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Can you make me one of those drinks?
what drink?
The Vegas one.
Oh no, to make it. Oh,
All you do is you just do. You drink the Red Bull. You drank all of it?
It was only a little bit.
No, it was 2 cans.
Oh, that can's still downstairs. You go downstairs and get it.
Go downstairs and get it. And I wanted you to DJ for me.
Bro, I'm done DJ.
No, you're not. Sorry, y'all. Babe, please.
Yeah, I'm done.
Make me a Vegas bomb, please. Please.
I'm going upstairs.
Okay, I'm gonna remember that. Mhm.
Oh, kind of like when you're in bed.
I'm gonna remember that. Hold on, y'all. Bye.
Okay, I'll fix your drink.
But you know how to make it?
No.
It's
no.
equal parts Crown Apple, the other thing, and then you just do a splash of cranberry juice and a splash of the Red Bull you do the most. Okay? Okay. He playing game talking about he about to make me a drink. Y'all, let me put my chain. I look too yellow. Okay. Yeah, he talking about he won't play the music for me no more. He's done. If we leave a gap here, y'all, and it's the end of the month, so we got the monthly candle. They got to put a wick on the monthly candle. Where's the month? I got so many time frames on my stuff, y'all. Don't laugh at me. I don't know, y'all. I just think we going down here. We gotta hit this. I think we going down there. We gonna see though. I'm holding. Y'all see the thing where it's like, got to see it through. Got to see it through, my boy. I got to see it through. But we do have SMT. And the monthly close, the 31st. What day is the 31st? 31st is next Tuesday. So we have until next Tuesday for NASDAQ to take that low. NASDAQ got to take this low by Tuesday. Next Tuesday, the 31st. Look, he better make that drink, y'all. And he better DJ, because if he don't DJ, I'm going to be mad. I'm trying to turn up before the week, because once I get into the week, I got a lot of stuff to do. But do you guys have any questions? Anything that you like are curious? Just my perspective in comparison to how you do things. Sometimes I wish I could talk to people who trade with other setups, because I feel like I love when you have confluence. Oh, thank you. Look at you. Okay, so what time are you DJing for me?
Bro, I'm done DJing.
No, why would you DJ that early? You
Bro,
never DJ early.
I was trying to fix those speakers from yesterday because I had to change some.
No, but that's not the point.
I fixed them.
Okay.
I was trying to get past the 50% threshold just now, and I can't. So.
What does that mean?
Like how loud it was, I was trying to get past 50%. Like it wasn't even at 50% as loud as it can go.
So why don't you turn it up?
I did that.
But how come it won't let you go get louder?
Bruh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait till I'm at a real event to test them. So.
Whatever.
But I will. I think I am gonna get the subwoofers to go with them.
The subwoofers.
Yeah, there's some subs that go with it.
Like bass?
Yes.
Oh, okay. 1 second, y'all. Okay. No, everything I do is ICT based. So all the logic I use, even Go Back, is based on ICT. Brian, what? You didn't put enough the sweet in here. It's missing something. Ugh, he made this wrong. That's nasty. It said if you want something done right, you gotta do it yourself. But yeah, I trade ICT. Do I only trade NQ? Futures, yes, I only trade NQ. ES is cool, but I'm just so comfortable with NQ that even though I look at ES and I do watch YM as well, I don't trade them. I will take options on SPY and on DIA. I had DIA puts. DIA was really good. DIA was actually really, really good. So I really liked the Dow move. And I was suspecting Dow was going to be the one, and it dumped. And I'm glad I took my puts. I'm glad I took puts on Dow, because at first I was like, you got an NQ already. You don't really need anything else. But yeah, so hear me out, y'all. Dow Jones. You see all these candles here? 1, 2, 3. If we close this candle here below this, I would expect that stuff to act as resistance. You see it? You see what I'm saying? So we close the body here, down here. I'm expecting it to keep going. And honestly, I would suspect it to come all the way down here. I'm not gonna lie. I think we're coming all the way down here personally. Like I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's like everything I'm looking at just looks like we're going lower. You know what? The stuff I trade with, I just don't know if price is going to be able to get back up. I think we got to go down. I don't see. What is that? 7? What's 31 minus 7? Yeah, so, okay. Target. Guys, can you please? Yeah. Dow Jones did make a sibby here, but the Dow Jones has a bear breaker now. Can you guys see the breaker? Can anybody see the breaker? Just curious if there's anybody who is comfortable with breakers. Anybody see the breaker? What session do I trade? I don't discriminate. I will trade all of them. With my job, it's sometimes can be challenging to do New York. You know, I get in where I fit in. If I can grab something off the top, I will. But I typically will just kind of take what I can take. I get what I can. So I'll do Asia if I need to. I will trade London. It just kind of depends on the setup. I have certain times where I expect price to make certain moves. So I really like 6:30. 6:30 is a good time for me. I like New York, the very like basically like that 9:45 window until like 10:15. I think that's really dope. You know, if I can get that in, and then I'll just work through lunch. Also like, you know, guys, hold on one second. Sorry about that. They being so loud. So it just depends on the day and what the setup is and what my schedule looks like. But I trade based on time, so I also need to have a setup that aligns with time as well. So we'll see. Yeah. How long have I been trading? Like, since since COVID. Basically, right when COVID started, I started learning. And I've gone through basically all of ICT's mentorships. So I've done all his mentorships 2016, 2017, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. I'm not listening to his current mentorship, though, I will say that. But I have basically gotten into everything. So we'll see. I am on Dow Jones watching this level here. This is a breaker. So like you could say price may treat this as a breaker or this. The only thing is that I definitely have my eye on this wick right here. So personally, I would not be surprised if we bounce in this area because this is a breaker. And even if we're bearish, cutting straight through a breaker just seems unlikely. I don't know. It's possible, but I'm suspecting we're going to bounce. We'd have a bounce, even if we're bearish, because price does not move in a straight line. And this is a bear breaker because you have your low, high, wait. You have your low, wait, no, that's backwards. Low, high, low, higher, high, lower, low. So let me do it again. I swear, anytime I try to say it out loud, my head be like, huh? But you have your high, low, higher high, lower low. So this is your bear breaker right here. The last down close candle before the up move that took liquidity before the breaker structure. So we have a bear breaker on top of a bull breaker. So low, high, lower low, higher high. This is your higher high here. Broke structure over this level. And it did it with imbalance across time frames. So long story short, you've got a bull breaker with a bear breaker on top of it. Okay. So that I'm definitely curious if we're gonna go up. And on the 9-day, there's a bearish fair value gap, and that gap's minted, so it's there. We go to weekly. We have weekly fair value gap in the same area. It's ugly though. Fair value plus volume gaps. This is where the first breaker structure really happened right here. And you can see it visibly. This volume gap, that's the signature. So you've got fair value gaps across time frames. 2 week, this is still open till Friday. I like to look at everything. 3 week, we're on top of an order block. Monthly, we're on top of an order block. So I personally would not be shocked if we bounce here. Am I thinking we're going to make a higher high? I'm very skeptical. So I think for me, my bias right now is kind of like neutral right in this spot. I definitely can see price bouncing and going higher. I could also make a case that we wick down, go lower before bouncing. And I think that I'd be shocked to see price take all-time high without taking out the lows that I see. However, anything's possible. So, I'm not at this point. I'm just gonna kind of see what they do. But I would like to see continuation to take out the sell side targets I have and then reassess from there. So ultimately, my bias in this particular range is I'm open for either side, either direction, but I definitely am curious if we're going to get a bounce here. So that's kind of my current perspective. I can see this is in a range where I can see make scenarios for both sides. I also found the way that they set up this move down was definitely suspicious, that they're going to try to manipulate to come back up and take a lot of this stuff. And this, I'm on YM right now, but NASDAQ looks the same to me. Like, I could definitely see a case where we come up and we retest this stuff and like trade up in here. We could even get as high as previous week high and then fall. But I'm kind of just skeptical because we've got order blocks. You see there's an order block right here on the 3-day. You got your bear breaker here. So we'll see. If they make a day bearish fair value gap over the next day, I would be looking at that for idea. So for me, order flow is bearish. You see you've got, this is Dow Jones. There's a bear fair value gap as it broke over the line that I have marked for the breaker. That's, to me, that's to be expected. So this fair value gap is like a signature. So I'm just curious to see when we reach it, what is that going to mean? So we could do something like, if we're going to have a bearish weekly profile, scenario could be Tuesday high, Thursday low. Okay. Real fast, let's just go through Dow Jones real quick. So 27-day, I've got a busy right there. If I was on the 5-minute, the 3-minute, I'm suspecting they're going to hit that gap. This is kind of where price usually gets wonky in the trade, where you're in the trade and it starts acting funny and you might get an order block here, like a green candle up in this area. I wouldn't be shocked if we get something like that. So we'll see. I do also use 56 days, so we're inside a busy on the 56 on Dow. I also use the 81. We got a long time on this candle, and we've basically got a month before it would need to go higher and get out this gap if we're going to maintain bullish order flow. And if we go to just some traditional time frames, I didn't mean to hit the 3-week. I meant to hit the monthly. There's really nothing here. Monthly was pretty balanced on Dow. 3-month, we're in the busy. 6-month, there's really no fair value here. 9-month, no fair value. It's already been offered, but it looks very heavy to me. Like, it just looks heavy to me, y'all. Okay. It's always interesting when I look back at my charts. Did you see those time frames I had marked? So 2022 dip, 2029 dip, 2020 dip, 2022. This is 2024. And then look at the candle we just made. You see it? That's not a cute candle. I really think we're going to come back here. But we'll see. My chart must have shifted too. That is not right. So yeah. Let's see. Just kind of taking a peek. Okay, I don't really see any questions or anything. But yeah, so we will see what they do with this. You see on the monthly how there's like no down closed candles until here, and we have just gave it a kiss. So definitely curious to see if we're gonna bounce. It has not reached the body though yet, so I wouldn't be shocked at minimum if we go down and hit that body. Bodies tell the story, wicks do the damage. But real quick, let's look at ES. So ES, yeah, y'all, we gonna leave that gap. You really think we gonna leave that gap? I don't know if we gonna leave that gap. I don't know if we gonna leave that gap, y'all. I don't know. I think we gotta go to the breaker. ES has not gave the breaker a kiss yet. NQ has not reached the breaker. YM has reached the breaker. Okay, y'all see it? Let's look at SPY real quick. SPY, look how far it is to the breaker. We got $48 left. Let's look at QQQ. QQQ has not reached the breaker. DIA has not reached the breaker. Y'all. Like, I just don't know what to say. Fibs, we have not reached a discount on DIA. QQQ. We have not reached a discount on QQQ. And I can just look at SPY. We have not reached a discount on SPY. We have reached a discount on Microsoft. This is what NQ's chart to me looks like. The only difference is we didn't have this gap on NQ. You see how we're in this gap? We have 8 days left on Microsoft. It's below this trend line I have, but it's got 8 days. This candle's open. So I have these targets. I would not like to see Microsoft go down there, but I really suspect we might be headed right there. Especially if we close the body over that. That does not look good. That does not look good. 3 month. This candle closes in 8 days on Microsoft. 8 days. If Microsoft closes a body below this candle, it's going to have a bearish breaker on the freaking quarterly. A freaking bearish breaker on the quarterly time frame. Do you know how long the quarterly time frame takes to play out? That's 3 months per candle. If you make a bearish breaker, do you know what your measured move is on that move? You know how far that the measured move would be on a bearish breaker on the quarterly? Do you see those lines on my chart? Bro, we have 8 days for Microsoft to pull that body up. That mug basically needs to move up like $60 in the next 8 days. And honestly, it would be even better if it respected this fair value gap. So basically you're talking like it would have to make a huge move back up. Like this is what I'm talking about when I say like I'm concerned. This is Meta. Meta, I had a target. I think I told you guys. I put it on my Instagram. I suspect Meta is coming here. I remember I told my cousin that, and he was like, it is not going to get there. It's not going to get there. And I was like, okay, we going to see. So if it hit, I'm about to be all in his head. Like, uh-huh. One of these days, people going to trust me in my analysis. Because have I steered y'all wrong yet? I'm like, bro, I swear, they don't ever want to listen to me. I was telling my friends last year, my non-trading friends, of my ideas, and everybody said I was crazy. Now look at us. So we will see. We will see. My only regret is I didn't go heavier. So yeah. Yeah, I don't think that even what anything that he's saying, I don't think it matters. I don't think any of that stuff matters. I'm not gonna lie to you. But we will see. So I think last thing I just want to take a peek at is the dollar. So we're at the dollar. This is the 12-month time frame on dollar. I just want to look real quick, see if I see anything. Dollar, is that a gap? No, it's not a gap. This is like a wannabe breaker, but it didn't take liquidity, so it missed. So it's a mitigation block. Okay, there's a SIBI right here on but it did already reject it and it pulled up. So I'm curious about dollar. Oh, okay, dollar could come up here. That's a bear breaker though. Can you see it? High, low, higher high, lower low. So this is your bear breaker on dollar. I would take all of that. This would be, I would consider this the bearish breaker. And there's a gap inside of it, so dollar may want that fair value gap. But this sequence here that it's sitting on top of is also bullish. It's just not, it's not a breaker by definition. This is a breaker. So low, high, lower, low, higher, high. So you could treat this as your breaker on the bull side. This dealing range right here, you could call that the breaker. So dollar, I could see several scenarios on dollar here. I'd probably wait. I don't trade dollar, but I do use it for ideas and confluence. So curious about dollar. And then the last thing I was looking at is the VIX. So you see VIX gapped up, but it's got, or sorry, I'm sorry, I was on the wrong time frame. Hold on, y'all. Forgot. So real quick, there's no wick on the bottom of that. Whew. Yeah, VIX, I don't know. I have targets on VIX, so I'm not gonna lie, up here. Come on. So 3. No, that's nothing. That's nothing. Dang, why is my computer lagging? Okay, this is a target. So this could be a target. This could be a target. Let me double check. Yeah, I'm looking at this on VIX as a possible target. That would be crazy, but we'll see. We will see. So that is basically my my analysis. So here, like I said, I am skeptical of any bullish moves until they take the sell side targets that I see. I also would be skeptical of any bullish moves until we see a 50% retrace on all of the sisters, NASDAQ, S&P 500, and the Dow Jones. It's just the nature of the beast. The way I've always been trained is that price should see a discount before continuation at minimum. So any bullish move we see, I'm looking for short entries on those moves. I'm going to be very careful. I will not play long until we change the state of delivery on the market. I have learned my lesson with trying to catch falling knives, and I don't do it no more. So, yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Generational wealth, definitely see some big opportunities. I am very cautious though. I think that the environment we're in and some of the things that are happening right now, these are macro changes. You know, if Iran puts enough pressure on some of the countries that deal with the United States and they do start moving money out of our market, that could have significant impacts, and that could be catalyst used to reach some of the targets that I'm looking at. You know, it's a lot. I think that some of the risks we need to be cautious of and keep our head on a swivel on are impacts because of the strait being closed. The strait has been closed long enough where honestly, even if they open it back up, it is going to have significant impacts. It's just lagging. Everything's lagging. I mean, you're already starting to see it, but it has not impacted us to the point where they've started, you know, rationing oil and making significant changes. But farmers are already talking about how fertilizer, you know, you got fertilizer that is needed for crops. Like, you can't just put the crops on pause, right? They need the fertilizer on a certain timetable to plant the crops. You don't have the fertilizer, what do? You feel me? It's a lot. Also, you got to think about helium. Your chip manufacturers, they need helium for manufacturing. There is no replacement for helium. No helium, no manufacturing. So you're talking about Nvidia, you're talking about Taiwan Semiconductors, you're talking about AMD. Like, all of your chip companies have the potential to be impacted. I don't know if this is priced in. To me, it doesn't look like it. So I think that there's some things that we need to be cautious of. We also have the potential for stagflation that looks very, very likely. If inflation continues to increase, you've got unemployment increasing, and like the Fed only has so many things it can do. So we are entering into a place where there's a lot of risk. And with oil prices going to the level that it's going, traditionally when oil reaches the levels that it's hitting right now, recession's next. So I definitely think that we need to be very cautious and very careful here. I don't think it's safe to assume that just what's happened in the past is always going to happen again. Like, just because that has been the case does not mean that it can change. It can't change. Like, real quick before I let you guys go, something that definitely makes me pause is, like, if we look at, like, let's just look at gold for a second. Like, gold's chart, I'm on the 3-day. Let's go to, like, one of my favorites. So 27-day. Let's go up to the 81-day. Okay. If you look at this chart, has gold ever made a move like this? Ever? No. Like, this is a fundamental change. This is a fundamental change. So if you're seeing change, like fundamental changes in how things move, things that are considered to be like safe havens or places that people go, I don't really know what else to say. Like, gold has never had market structure that looks like this. Gold has never made a delivery like this before of this magnitude. I mean, this is crazy. And then this candle here, this is a rejection block. So if this candle holds, like, we're in for some serious volatility. We look at silver. Like, look at silver's candle. Like, that's crazy. You telling me, like, all this history on this silver chart? Let's go to this silver here. And we look back. Like, look back at the history. Like, you know, I think we got to be careful. I think we got to be really careful with assumptions right now, you know, and just trade what the chart validates. So, definitely curious to see how it plays out. It's the 10-year. 10-year, that's a bull breaker. Low, high, lower, low, higher, high. That bull breaker has not met measured move yet. So we just measure it. I like to take the, let's see. So like all these highs, they could take all that at minimum. That's the 10-year. Let's look at oil. So oil, I thought oil was kind of interesting. So this is a dealing range oil has on the chart. Took liquidity at the highs, took liquidity at the lows. Oil has a dealing range. There's a breaker here. You've got one here. You definitely can see. You've got high, low, higher, high, lower, low. So here's your breaker. You see how price sat below that level and then went lower. But now we're trying to validate a bull breaker. So you've got your high, low, and now we're trying to make a higher high. It hasn't, to me, it's very close. So what I'm looking at on silver, if price closes a body over 110 on silver, I think she goes higher. So like this little swing right here, we close a body over this, I think we're going up. We're going to come test this breaker at minimum. But this is a dealing range. So dealing range logic is if they test the breaker and it makes a higher low here, it could very well take the high. The high could be the target, you know. So we got to see what happens. But I'm watching this level on crude oil. I think this is a really big area for us to keep an eye on this week. If we get over here and hold a support, I'm looking for price to take the highs of this level. And you see how they built these highs? Liquidity, 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 and then all up into this SIBI here, this balance price range. I would not be surprised if we made a red candle here to leave a fair value gap to go higher. It could take a while for silver to play out, and it may not. It may just keep going. I can't tell you what's going to happen there, but definitely thanks for jumping on here. Definitely curious either way, what's to come. But I think the first thing when I look at crude oil is that this is a dealing range. So this is your dealing range high, and this is your dealing range low. Ooh, if it'll let me put a line there. Okay. And then this is our breaker. So I'm looking to see what silver does here. I mean, not silver. I keep saying silver. I don't know why I keep saying silver. I want to see what oil does here. If we get over, I'm looking for higher. I'm looking for it to sweep these levels, which could bring oil up to 160 to 180. And if it rejects, it's very possible this could be it. It took this liquidity. It could reject and fold, and that could be it. So we'll see what happens, because it did take a lot of liquidity, like all these high. You see how they've set that level up for it to come back here. Silver's been preparing for this move for a while. I keep saying silver. Why do I keep saying silver? Crude oil. Okay, you see that? These were targets. Okay. So we close the body over that higher. Reject, it could go lower. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. Personally, I would love to see it come back. Because them gas prices is crazy. And if we maintain these levels and hold, we're in for a rude awakening. But you get what you vote for. So we're going to learn. But I hope this was interesting to you guys and got a different perspective. But I definitely am curious. Yeah, I'm curious to see what silver does. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know. I do think silver, because silver has more uses than just being used to trade. But I think I had posted this on Threads, this setup, and it sold off like I had. It did what I thought it was gonna do. Now we just gotta see what happens from here. And then gold, similar setup, it's just heavier. And it did just take this low. So, but that's a big level that is gonna have to close. Otherwise, it's gonna have a bearish fair value gap. And if we make a green candle with a bearish fair value gap directly above, it doesn't look good. So we'll see. Ooh, that's bright. Hold up. Okay, I think that's a little better. But yeah, before I hop off of here, any questions? Anybody have any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Before I let you guys get back to it, I do think this is going to be a very interesting week. I will plan to be nimble. I have gone down to runners on my short position. So I'm still in short, but I have reduced my position because we are at the breaker on the Dow Jones. ES and NQ still have some room to get to a discount and get to the breaker. But with puts, I try to be careful. You know, I try not to be too greedy on puts. Because it's, you know, puts move fast, but they can be not as forgiving as longs. At least for me. So I try not to get greedy on puts. But any questions? Yeah. I'm glad that this was helpful. Any last minute questions, comments? Anything you want to throw out there real quick before we get going? I'm just checking the chat, so just make sure to put in the chat. Otherwise, you can always ask me on Threads as well. That's a good place. That's where I like to talk about charts, is Threads. Okay. Any other comments before we hop off? All right. Well, it looks like it's a no. So I am going to let you get to it. It's been about an hour. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for getting on here with me and for hanging out. And if you want to continue doing these type of conversations each week, let me know. I can schedule time to do it. But definitely appreciate you for jumping on here and hearing me out. Like I said, these are just ideas. So you got to do your own charting. You got to, you know, come up with your own bias and targets and all that good stuff. This is just me going through the charts and communicating what I see, reading the candles. Don't get clapped trading somebody else's ideas. Thank you so much for the follow. Don't get clapped though trading somebody else's ideas. Make sure you obviously do all your charting and bias for yourself. But with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you again. Have a blessed week. Be safe out there. Make sure you stock up. Get your stuff, because with this whole port being closed, I do anticipate it's going to have some impacts for us here in the States, and you don't want to get caught off guard. So at least have the essentials to make sure you're good. Water, some you know, you got to get you some ramen noodles, whatever the case may be. Make sure you good just in case. Don't assume that this is not going to impact us. I think we've been kind of spoiled thinking that everything going to be cool here. But prepare for the worst, hope for the best, okay? Don't get caught off guard. Don't be one of those people who get caught off guard, okay? I ain't saying go crazy, but just be prepared. So